The Sudrian Chronicles by Liam Campbell and Clara Lucas. Book 26, Tramway Engines. Story 4, Toby's Tightrope, based upon Toby's Tightrope by the Reverend Wilbur Audrey. "Mavis, what did I say to you?" shouted a furious Mr. Curry. His sleek black hair had turned a shade of gray, and his glasses bounced on his nose so much that they nearly flew off. "Oh, hello, Mr. Curry," spluttered Mavis as she returned to the quarry. Mr. Curry had received numerous phone calls from the townspeople who had gotten caught up in the traffic. "You are a very naughty engine. I thought I told you that you needed more experience before you left the quarry. You have no reason to go jauntering down the line instead of doing your work up here." His usual enthusiasm had vanished. Without it, Mavis felt very frightened. "Did I or did I not tell you that?" You did, sir." "Then why, Mavis, did you go down the tramway?" Toby told me to take the first train." "Does Tobias give you the orders around here?" "Mavis, do you or do you not take orders from Tobias?" "Sometimes." "What do you mean, sometimes?" "Well, Toby likes to come up here from time to time to do his little thing. But he's just being a fusspot. I don't listen to him usually, though. Don't worry, sir." Mr. Curry rubbed his forehead, groaning his next words. "If Tobias tells you where a line of trucks go, then you do what he says. He knows about trucks more than anyone else. If he wants his trucks somewhere, then you shall put them and nowhere else." "But," "The only but is, there is no going down the tram road. You shall do as you are told, or else." But it's not fair, sir. It's not my fault. He shouldn't be up here in the first place. You said so, sir." "If Tobias comes up here and helps, then so be it. You should have come to me about what he has been doing, Mavis. Tobias has worked here for a very long time. He doesn't like change. I can assure you that he won't bother you forever. But, in the meantime, you must understand that he is here to help. Do you understand, Mavis?" "Yes, sir." "Good. Now, work will not resume until the spring. For now, you shall stay in your shed and think about what you have done and how to improve yourself. Reflect on yourself, maybe. You shall have a long time to do so." "Okay, sir." Mr. Curry was right. She did have plenty of time to reflect, but reflecting got dull after a while. Being trapped inside her shed began to make her feel cramped. She longed to go for a ride again and to get out of the quarry. She began to count the trucks through the window after she got bored. After she got bored of that, she began to count the sleepers, then the bricks, then the ballast. Brick 456, brick 457, brick 458. She was cut off by a peep, 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 peep. "That's odd. Thomas shouldn't be up here. Fudge, I lost my place." "Stupid Toby!" cried the voice of the tank engine from outside. "Too lazy to come up here and get his own trucks. I have my own trains to pull, he knows." She heard a set of trucks bump across the yards and into a siding by her window. Thomas soon strolled up to it. "Thomas!" Mavis marveled. "Who's there?" exclaimed Thomas, running his eyes around, looking for the source of the voice. His eyes landed on the shed. Mavis saw him looking back. "Oh, hey, Mavis," wheezed Thomas as he left the trucks and came alongside her window. "Hey, what are you doing up here?" "Toby didn't feel like coming up here to get his trucks, so here I am. By the way, that bridge up to the quarry is, really unsturdy." "I didn't know Toby had trucks up here." "I didn't either until today. Stupid Toby." "You can say that again. All he does is give us stupid orders and complains." "Yeah, that's Toby for you. He means well, though." "No, he doesn't." Thomas sighed. "Look, I know you aren't on good terms, but you should really..." "Really what? I'm stuck in the shed for the whole winter. Mr. Curry doesn't trust me, and at this rate, I'll never leave the quarry, and it's all because of him." "I know how you feel." "No, you don't. This isn't Vickers Town. There you had space. There you had Eduardo. Edward, whatever. You had others to talk to. You actually had an open space to run. But here, I have no one. I have the stupid trucks, the workmen who hate their jobs, and that fuddy-duddy Toby. She began to sob. I have no one. Relax. I'm here now. And what are you going to do? Take me with you? I mean, I could. Don't even. I don't want to be in even more trouble with Mr. Curry. He's upset with me as is. Listen, all I'm saying is I've had my fair share of prison breaks. Old. Stubborn. Mavis laughed for the first time in a long time. Only Thomas could make her laugh. Listen, I know this isn't what you want to hear right now, but you and Toby, you two have a lot in common. More than just the skirts, I mean. I swear, Thomas, I will never talk to you again if you bring this up. Listen, it's just... Thomas paused on his words. His forehead grew wrinkles as he thought. There was something on his mind, but he was conflicted to say it. That bothered Mavis. She hated when people wouldn't tell her something. Go on. The tank engine sighed, looking at the gloomy sky. Toby doesn't really have a lot to do anymore. He would always take the workmen up here to the quarry every day. He shunted and took the trains up and down from here. Boy, did he love it when he first arrived. You know, his old railway closed down. He was almost left forgotten. Wait, what? Yeah, he would still be the fat controller hadn't bought him. The quarry really saved him, and now that it's taken away from him, he has no meaning. Yep, he's been doing odd jobs around the branch. He hates it like hell. Wow, I thought he did a lot more. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a suggestion. Maybe let him shunt up here from time to time. I know that would make him feel a lot better. I'll think about it. Great. Anyways, I gotta go. I need to see a coach about a train. Besides, I can't let the fat controller down. Thomas smiled and began to leave the quarry. Thomas, wait. Yeah? Do you think I've let Mr. Curry down? Considering all the stuff I've done and the fact that I'm still on the railway, I think you're good. Thanks. See you. You too, love. Bye! Spring came early the next year. The snow melted, leaving behind a beautiful countryside of luscious green. It wasn't long before the quarry was back in operation. The clanking of miners' picks was heard around the valley. Mavis smiled joyously as Elijah started her engine for the first time in months. She puttered around the quarry, marshalling the trucks. By now, she knew where she wanted the trucks, and even used some of Toby's advice. Mavis shunted a long line of trucks and headed for the entrance. I can't wait to see the line again. I wonder if Daisy must... She jumped to a halt, the trucks bumping into her. Elijah, what are you doing? Sorry, Mavis, but you're not going out of the quarry. Mr. Curry's orders. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. She solemnly backed the trucks into the sidings at the entrance. If Mavis had felt claustrophobic before in her shed, this was a new level. The walls of the quarry surrounded her field of vision. She was so close to leaving, but so far away at the same time. She could practically see the whole branch line from Farquhar to the distant town of Elsbridge. It felt insulting. It was all in front of her, but alas, she couldn't leave. A feeling of melancholy washed over her. She didn't want to admit it, but a part of her missed Toby. The trucks weren't much for conversation, nor were the miners. It seemed that Toby's absence was louder than his presence. Toby never entered the quarry. He took the trucks Mavis left him by the entrance, and that was that. Toby would return the empty trucks next to the loaded ones. Mavis soon grew frustrated about this arrangement. It was awkward. Right outside of the quarry limit was a deep slope. Taking a line of too many trucks would make her a runaway. She would usually have to separate the trains into halves. Then she would have to go backwards and forwards, taking each half at a time. This became frustrating. Why can't we just take the whole train and just be careful with it? She asked Elijah later. Because, Mr. Curry, good point. So, it was arranged for Mavis to try to shunt the whole line of trucks into the sidings. This isn't as exciting as I thought it would be, sighed Mavis later that day when she tried it. She wasn't paying attention to the line, nor was her crew. Elijah ate a bag of nuts, while Owen tried his best to take the controls. Keep an eye on the tracks, said Elijah, paying no attention himself. I can't find the sign, faltered Owen, trying his best to look for the yard limit. Elijah joined and looked. Shit, we passed it! In a haste, he threw the brakes on as the train groaned to a stop, with Mavis's back wheels declining. That was close, sighed Elijah. Any further, and we would have become a runaway. Mavis peered down the line. It sloped viciously down before curving out of sight. She smiled with delight before sputtering away.
You know,
sighed a truck.
do you ever wonder why we were put on this cruel world? To carry stones, stupid,
scoffed another truck. Well, said Mavis, hurrying alongside, you're also here to cause trouble. Her eyes darted to her crew going on their lunch break.
I can live with that.
Smiled the truck.
Being troublesome is fun.
Would you like to cause some trouble for me? The other trucks narrowed their eyes.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, I was thinking, next time I go to shut you guys to the entrance, maybe you could push me down the hill.
What's in it for us?
Runaway train?
All right, you got yourself a deal, missy.
That's what I call business. It wasn't long before Elijah and Owen returned. Owen tapped on the fuel gauge as they settled themselves in. Oh, you're right, grimaced Elijah. We need to refuel you, and quickly. Mavis was horrified. I'm sure we can get Toby's trucks first. Yeah? And let you run out of fuel in the middle of the quarry. I think not. Now, come on, we won't be long. I hope. Toby was trundling to the quarry. That bridge seems to be getting loose from the torrents. Well, I knew those winter snows would mess with the current, he grumbled as he arrived at the quarry entrance. That's peculiar, said Toby. Mavis always has my trucks ready. I reckon that we have to get them ourselves. Yeah, I don't see why not. Let's hurry, though. Toby got his trucks and began to leave when Mavis came scuttling along. Toby! Oh, hello, Mavis. I didn't see the trucks outside. Sorry, Emma. Toby! Emma cut in. We need to get going, now. Righto, Emma, Toby sighed. See you around, Mavis. Wait, Toby! But Toby was already hustling out of the quarry. The trucks bounced and banged into each other maniacally. This wasn't normally odd, but some trucks had a glint in their eyes. A troublesome glint. Mavis locked eyes with a truck as it left the quarry. A pit formed in Mavis's radiator. Oh great, here we go again. The only day I don't bring Henrietta. He crawled as he was pushed down the slope. Toby thundered down, easing his brakes on. Oh no you don't. He barked at the trucks as he began to slow them down. Soon, they approached the bridge. Or, what was left of it? The once silent stream had turned into a harsh torrent and undermined the supports. The bridge was no longer there except for the pair of rails that dangled over the rapids. Wendell slammed off the regulator, put the reverser hard on, full steam against the trucks. Pull them, boy, pull them, it's up to you. Toby put all his weight onto the trucks as he neared and neared the bridge. It was risky to brake now, but it was all or nothing. Wendell pulled the brakes hard on for life as Toby went into a squealing slide. Beep, 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 whistled Toby despairingly for help as he slid down a short bit, groaned fearfully, and looked down into the abyss below. He was on the rails, but his wheels treaded on his tightrope. Wendell tried his best to haul Toby off the bridge, but the trucks held him in place. Mavis came tearing down the hill and nearly crashed into the brake van. Toby, are you alright? I'm alive, but maybe not for much longer. Stay here where you are. I'll get help. Workmen came trailing down behind her, trying to keep up with her pace. They ran off the line as she trembled back up. She explained to Foreman Fabian, and he shouted orders at the men. They ran around the quarry, ripping chains and ropes off from machinery, tossing them into a truck. Quickly thinking, they clambered into the truck. Mr. Curry heard everything and rushed to join in. Mavis stepped back to Toby. Toby swayed above the rapids precariously. Sleepers that had still held up began to fall and shattered into the jagged rocks in the rapids. The horn and sputtering of Mavis came roaring down the line. Before she could even stop, men were climbing out of the truck to attach chains and ropes to Toby. They helped Emma and Wendell to safely. Mavis carefully took away the trucks, reprimanding them severely. When she shunted them into a nearby siding, she came back as close to Toby as she could. Men attached chains and ropes to her. Toby dared not to move. Soon, it was ready. With a loud rev from her engine, she moved into action. Roared Mavis as she spun her wheels furiously. Toby was moving inch by inch. Mavis's face turned red. There were only 2 rails in the void of her and Toby on them. Her engine felt hot, like it would overheat, but she kept going. Toby was only a few feet away from safety. Mr. Curry watched anxiously, biting his nails to his skin before fainting. Sparks flew into the sky from Mavis's wheels. The sound of her engine was deafening. Toby was nearly on safe ground when snap! The rails careened into the watery grave. They bounced downstream as Toby dangled, 2 wheels in the air. He leaned dangerously forward. "Tell Henrietta I love her." "Tell her yourself." With one fiery heave, Mavis pulled Toby to safety, tears in her eyes. "Toby, you want fuzzpod. You can't do that to me," she sobbed as Emma and Wendell scrambled back into their engine. "Oh, you're heavy," she gasped, catching her breath. Toby laughed. "I see things never change, do they?" "Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Just, I don't want to lose you," she cried. "I don't want to lose my dad. I mean, teacher!" Toby smiled warmly. "You can't get rid of me that easy. Anyways, Wendell told me about circus people who walk tightropes, but I don't think I'd fancy becoming one myself." The 2 chuckled before becoming quiet, watching the men unfasten the chains and ropes. Neither of them spoke until... "I'm sorry, Toby. I wanted to get out of the quarry. I told the trucks to push me. I didn't know you'd be..." "It's alright," stopped Toby. "It's my fault anyways. I shouldn't have been such a stickler to you." "Marvelous show!" boomed Mr. Curry as he was helped up by Foreman Fabian. "Now, Mavis, I don't appreciate you making the trucks play tricks on you and the others. However, your actions to save Toby clearly have proven your worth. You did an amazing job." A day later, the Fat Controller and men came up to look at the broken bridge. Mavis had been tasked to bring them down in the quarryman's coach to the bridge. "This shouldn't take long to mend," told a workman. "We've all the stones and rocks to build a new one on hand." She, thought the Fat Controller, turning to Mavis. She was very nervous about what he may say until he grew a large grin. "A very smart piece of work," he cheered. "Well, Mavis, you did a brilliant job on shaving my Toby." "Oh, thank you. It was my fault, though," she faltered. "I had wanted to leave the quarry, and I asked the trucks to push me down, but Toby got them before I could shunt them. I didn't know if I could..." "If you could watch," smiled the Fat Controller. "If I could come down the line, sir? Toby said that he could show me the ropes of how everything works." "Why, certainly, if your manager agrees." He turned to Mr. Curry, who was nodding exuberantly. And so, it was arranged. Mavis is now a welcome visitor at Farquhar Sheds. She sometimes steals Toby's berth, but mainly sticks to the carriage sheds. She's still young and feisty, and makes mistakes time to time, but she is always willing to ask for help from Toby. And Toby helps her put things right, but makes sure to never overstep. As for Thomas and Percy, they soon ended their quarrels. Everybody is now great friends.